Hi, I'm Becky DPT. Today, let's talk fixing your posture. Fixing your posture has to do with strengthening the muscles to hold you upright while we stretch the muscle groups in those joints that become tight and rounded. From the side position, we should have the shoulders over your hips, over your ankles. So we have to think about pulling our belly in so we don't have that anterior posture. We need to think about pulling our rib cage down to the front of our hip bone. We need to think about not being in that slouched posture, holding up nice and tall. So we need to stretch our chest and we need to work and strengthen our back muscles. During our daily life, we need to make sure that we have good footwear. So we have good support for standing. When you're sitting, you want to make sure that you have a good lumbar support that supports that low back curve. Also, if you can lower your knees just a little bit lower than where your hips are at, it encourages you, instead of being in that slouched position, if you have the knees down a little lower, it makes you sit up a little bit taller. Also, we want to try preventing crossing our ankles or crossing our knees because that is very hard on our low back and our SI joint, which then travels down the chain and ends up affecting our knees and our ankles. So let's talk a few simple exercises that are going to improve your function and improve that posture. The first is a chin tuck. A chin tuck is like setting your chin down on a little table, and you just tuck that chin inward. I always tell my patients how you can tell is if you get that double chin in the mirror. From the side view, we tuck that chin and release, and we tuck and release. This exercise can be done about 10 repetitions, holding for just a couple seconds each. Another great exercise is scapular retractions. So we're squeezing our shoulder blades back and releasing. And again, squeeze and release. From that side view, we're just pulling those shoulder blades back and releasing. And again, back and releasing. For our scapular retraction, 10 repetitions, just holding for a couple seconds or so. Our next exercise is wall angels. So we'll take the feet just a little further away from the door, get the hips against the door, try to bring that rib cage down to your hips, giving yourself a little pelvic tilt. And we're going to bring the arms up along onto our door or onto the wall. You're going to slide your arms up on the door or wall and back down. And again, slide up and lower, nice and controlled, keeping those elbows back, those hands on the wall. Let's go one more time. And release. This exercise can be done again for that 10 repetitions and just slow and controlled movement. Our next exercise is a stretch, and this is stretching our chest muscles because our chest muscles become tight as we become slouched. You can place your arms up alongside of your door frame, or we can be in a corner. You step your feet back just slightly and then lean into that stretch. Because this is a stretch, we want to hold for a good 30 to 60 seconds, and we want to do this exercise 3 times. So the longer that you hold a stretch, the more benefit that you gain, but you will increase pain while you're holding that stretch, because once your muscles have reached their full flexibility Anything beyond that is the stretch, and that's where we get that discomfort. We can release, and again into that stretch, holding nice and controlled. We want to make sure those elbows are up shoulder height. And these stretches, they should be uncomfortable, but we should not have any intense pain. Our next exercise is pelvic tilts. Very, very good for our low back. You're going to take your rib cage down towards your hip bone, and you're going to flatten out that back. So we're going to lower down that back and release. Again, tilt that pelvis so the hips slightly come up off the mat and lower. Nice and controlled motion. No big holds. 10 repetition does the job. Another great exercise for strengthening is a bridge. So we just lift through those heels and lower down. When we lower, we don't quite rest down onto the mat. We barely touch the mat and push back up into that bridge. This is a great glute strengthener, also into those hamstrings for improving our posture. For this one, you can start out with 10 reps and you would want to build up to 30. Another exercise is a Superman or Supergirl, where we work on back extension. So we try to fight that forward flex posture. You're going to lift the arms and legs and lower and lift and lower. Again, nice and controlled. This is building strength in all of the muscles along our backside. This exercise should be done 10 repetitions, nice and controlled, and build to 30. Our last exercise is going to be a plank. A plank is very good for supporting your low back, your core, your abdominals, and helping you maintain that upright posture. Sometimes a plank can only be held for a few seconds, especially when you're starting, but you want to try to build that time up. I like to build my clients up to 3 planks for a minute hold each. Obviously, that's not where we start out. So you take those elbows directly underneath those shoulders. The hands can be down or clasped, whatever's more comfortable. You tuck your toes in and we look out in front of the hands, tuck that belly, squeeze the glutes, and just hold. Making sure not to hold the breath. Nice and controlled breathing. Just holding. And release. Hopefully, you have learned some new exercises that help improve your posture. Have a great day.